All right, so we're a little bit into the session, and I was sitting where the camera is and just kind of talking with the guardians. This is really a dog psychology session. I have dog behavior sessions, which is really about structure and discipline. This is really about trying to get the dog to move forward. So he was staring at me the whole time, and I was waiting for him to show me that he was a little bit calmer. And he did that because he was sitting there looking at me. He's licking me now a little bit. And if you notice, I'm looking away from him. I'm not looking at him while I'm doing this. And I'm leaving my hand here. A lot of times they will do what he just did is they'll come back a second time, and he just got another sniff of me. So he was finally like, he did, none of my dogs do. I always crack up when dogs like, so tired. And they fall asleep while they're sitting up. He did that. He basically almost did that, and we realized he was doing that, he laid down. As soon as he laid down, that's when I transitioned over here, and that's when we started filming this video. As you can see, he's not lingering in the back now. Now, I'm not feeding him treats ad nauseum, but the first couple times I fed him treats, I put him on the floor and let him take them in his own accord. And they were right next to him, so he didn't have to move out, so he got a taste for them. Then we started to get him come, and he was able to come all the way over here. But you see now, and then he took one treat from my hand, but I didn't do that right away. I did that, I took my time. Again, we live in an instant gratification culture, and because of that, we want everything immediately. We watch The Dog Whisperer, it makes for great TV, but we expect the same transformation in dogs, and it doesn't happen like that in real life. So you see now he's licking my hand and sniffing my hand, and he's investigating it, and he's not moving back. Before he would take the treat and turn around and go away. Now I'm trying to get him, I'd like to get him a little bit further out. No, that one didn't work the way that I wanted, so we'll try another one there. So you see how he's leaning forward, he's not coming forward. Now, eventually, this is going to be something I'm going to have the male that lives in the house do. I'm going to try to shift without making him spooked. That was pretty good. I thought that would move him back. And eventually, when we're doing this, we want to do it to the side. Now, I'm wanting him to come forward a little bit, so I'm not putting it right in his purview. He's got to come, he had to take that extra step there. Pretty good at watching dogs out of the corner of my eyes. I'd like to see if I can get him off of this thing. But we have to repeat this over and over again. So what I might do is just now, if he doesn't take it, don't make it easier for him. Don't make it too big, too far away that he can't take it. But the idea is to get him to go a little bit further each time, and something good is happening. And one thing I am not trying to do is pet him. Most of us think, oh, I'll pet you and I'll make you feel good. Prove to you I'm good. Some dogs, if I don't feel comfortable around you, why on earth would I feel comfortable with you petting me? So basically, what I'd like I'm going to talk about this in the roadmap to success, but I'd like the guardian to start putting his scent on the food, on the kibble, but having someone else feed the dog. So the dog feels a little bit more comfortable about it, but he's getting a little bit of a male's scent, and so we're bringing it to him in a small, digestible slice that he can actually absorb himself. And the idea when we're doing this is I want to look to the side. Front facing is confrontational, leaning over a dog is dominating, staring at a dog can be a challenge. So when we do this, we want to just do this to the side, and we're just going to ask him to come forward, get a treat. We're not going to assign any command words. We're going to leave our hand here afterwards and hopefully get him to come and sniff it a second time. If he doesn't, then we'll, after a second or two, we're just going to do the same thing. And each time I do this, I'm moving it a little bit. I'm trying to move it a little bit closer. I'd like to get it actually down here where my pinky is. But that might be a little much for him overnight. Like I said, it's going to take time. But if we let him, and the guardian's been, I basically talked off camera, and she's like, he just seemed comfortable here, so I just left him here. And that's good initially, but at this point it's been 5 years. This is not a good quality of life for him. And so one of the things I talked to the guardian about doing was to teach him some new tricks and commands, and to help boost his self-esteem. Well, one of the tricks I'd like you to teach him is to catch. Now, for dogs, let's do a little jackpot there, see if we can get you to come a little further. For dogs, a lot of times we like to go like this. And then we throw it on the third one. The dog's like, watch, where did it go? And then it hits them in the head, and then they're confused. So when you're doing the teaching your dog to catch, don't wind up. Just toss it right away. Just so it's all the dog has to do is open its mouth and it falls in the mouth. Take a little practice for you guys to get that good. We'll do a little more there. See if we can get you to come forward. If it hits his nose and hits the ground, and then we let him lick it off the ground, well, what's my motivation to get it? I get it no matter what. Why should I put forth the effort? So when you're doing this, if he doesn't get the treat, there we go. Then we're going to pick it up and retoss it. So the only way he's going to get the treat is by eating it or by catching it. So we can get a little bit of there we go, I'm off the deal. He's not. But you see he's sitting a little bit closer to the edge and not moving away. The great thing about dogs, they live in the now. These are hard cases to see. I hate seeing a dog like this, but I will say it's one of the more rewarding cases when I get to work with a dog that has a situation like this. We'll see if we can entice him to come forward a little bit more. So what also loud voices and a lot of stuff like that can be overwhelming for a dog. So there we go. So now one more inch. Now your instincts reach over and pet him. You can't do it. I'm just going to let him sniff my hand. Sat down. Again, progress. So what I'd like the guardian to do, once the female guardian can actually hopefully teach him to catch. I had a guy in Santa Monica, the dog was just fearful of the dad. And the dad traveled a lot, and so he wasn't always in the house, and it created a lot of problems. And we came home, and dad was super duper nice. He's doing everything the right way. Dog just didn't want to have anything to do with him. And this dog was growling and kind of nipping if you came close. So what we finally did was we actually taught the dog to catch, and then dad just every day would come over, sit down, turn sideways, and toss a treat. And the dog would snatch it out of the air. Now the dog's getting the person's scent. He's getting a positive reinforcement. He's engaging with the human, but because the exercise that we've selected allows the human to engage with him at a little bit of a distance and help the dog feel more comfortable. And so the more that we did this, then he was able to get the dog coming out of the room, and then he started playing fetch in different areas. And eventually we got to the point where now the dog, like when the dad comes home, the dog is happy, tail's wagging, and he's literally happy to see the dad. Let's see if we can do this and see if I can get one more. We'll make it easy for you. We'll put one more there, and I'm going to put a little jackpot in my hand. It's like, what are you looking at? Now, again, when you're looking at this, maybe put a mirror here on this cabinet so you can look here and see him without looking directly at him. Now, if he doesn't want to go, don't enforce him. Don't over-encourage. If he doesn't want to take him, or he turns around and goes back there, then you've reached his limit. This should be really shortly done. This should be like a 1 to 2 minute little session, and then go over there and then let him go back to. Oh, that was hard work, and this is hard work for him. But eventually we can get to the point where he's able to do it and move further and further away, and eventually we can play catch a little bit in the living room or somewhere further away. Let's see if we can get him to take these out of my hand as well. I'm guessing he will. Any others that are close by? No? Let's see if he'll take this step for this one. Make it a little bit easier. Can you give me one more step? Nope. All right. So basically, going back to this, the catch is something once you've taught him to catch, and now I would do it. And there you go. So I'm overwhelmed. And that's wonderful. He gave us something we want. We pushed it and we pulled him out. Normally, he doesn't come out here. If there's a male guest here, there's no way he would have been here, correct? Mm-hmm. This is the first time he's done it. So we're creating a lot of firsts. One of the things I'd like you guys to do is document it. Create a journal and just write, give him 18 treats or whatever it is. As much detail as you want to put in. It doesn't have to be super detailed. But that way you can kind of start to see the progress. When we have kids, we don't notice them growing. Our friends come in, they haven't seen the kid in 3 months. Like, oh, he's big. Same sort of thing for dog behavior. A lot of times we don't notice the little steps. So sometimes a journal can actually help you feel good that you're making progress, or see, hey, our progress has slowed down a little bit. What do we need to adjust? So again, the first thing we want to do is lead the treats like I talked about in the other video, but this is something I'd like to have. Again, it gives us the ability to be sideways. But if he won't come near you, then we need to practice a little bit more with the scent on that. And one of the other things we're going to do is we're going to start taking him on regular walks. There are some times where he does enjoy being with the male guardian, like after daycare. He's able to pet him in the car, but once we come back inside, the dog's like, it's done. So we want to build on those positive experiences and make more and more of them until he's just like, why did I ever hang out in the corner? We don't want the dog to spend the next 5 years of his life in a corner. We want him to be playing around, doing what his partner is doing over there on the couch where she probably shouldn't be, but that's okay. That's for another video. So this is just an example of how you can use positive reinforcement to get a dog to come forward towards you without forcing them, and help the dog feel a little bit better about moving forward so they can get over their own fears. Let's try one more for the camera. There we go. While I'm narrating this, if you do this and he only takes the first treat and just says, and he's moved back already like he just did, he's probably saying I'm overwhelmed. So when we do this, we want to keep doing these in very short iterations. Awesome. And then let the dog sleep and have a little recovery time in between each one. But the main thing is we want to see him going a little bit further each time. The treats I'm using here are Tricky Trainers. These are chicken liver. They are of no preservatives, and they have a very strong aroma. When it comes to dogs, the nose controls 60% of their brain. That's okay. I'll give you another one, honey. I'll let you take one right out of the bag. See if you will. That'd be tough. But if we can, because their nose can override their brain, sometimes scent can actually help them overcome one fear. And no, I'm done. All right, well, this is Buddy, and this is one of the videos of one of the techniques we're going to use positive reinforcement to help him come out of his shell.